The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 17, The Return of the Green Goblin.
Look, old Bookworm Parker. The way he's glued to that chem book, you'd think he was reading the latest James Bond mystery. See me after class, kids. Old Flash has some big news for ya. It's been months since I had that battle with the Green Goblin. I wonder what became of him. Why hasn't he been heard from since?
In another part of the city, at the same time that Peter Parker sits in his science classroom, the very one he is thinking of is also thinking of him, or to put it more accurately, of Spider-Man.
The next time I battle Spider-Man, I'll have new weapons to defeat him with. Now I'm only practicing with a dummy target, but I can't wait until I get a chance to use my little bag of tricks on the real Spider-Man. With all the practicing I've done, I should be able to vanquish him just as easily as I've beaten his lifeless replica. I've even redesigned my jet-powered Goblin glider, making it still faster and more maneuverable. Ah, yes, when we next meet, Spider-Man will find that the mysterious Green Goblin is more than a match for him and his own puny powers. I've waited all these months to give myself enough time to prepare for our next encounter, and at last the Goblin is ready. Now all that remains for me to do is find Spider-Man.
A short time later, after class at Midtown High.
All the kids are gathered around Flash. I wonder what's going on. Tell us about it, Flash.
What's your big news?
I'm starting a new club, and you're all invited to join. What kind of club? I might as well see what it's all about. It's a Spider-Man fan club, Forest Hills chapter, and I'm the president. Nay, here comes Puny Parker. Naturally.
It sounds groovy. Hello, Peter. Have you heard about the club Flash is forming?
Why, no, I haven't. Forget it, Liz. Parker wouldn't be interested. Don't let us keep you from where you're going, useless. Don't worry, Flash. I can always think of something better to do than talk to you.
Flash Thompson, that was the cruelest thing I've ever seen you do. Why won't you let Peter Parker join your Spider-Man fan club?
Who needs that creep? Anyway, he doesn't even like Spider-Man. You know him. He's not interested in anything unless it's strictly from Deauville. Imagine if he ever saw Spider-Man, he'd probably faint. You said a mouthful, Flash. Anyway, forget about Puny Parker. I've got big plans for my Spider-Man fan club. It's gonna be the greatest fan club in town, because Spidey's the greatest guy in town.
And I'm going to find some way to get Peter Parker into that club.
A few minutes later, as Pete walks home.
What's everyone staring at? Uh-oh, up on that roof. Looks like trouble. Look, they're running into a waiting helicopter. I never saw anything like that. Men in costumes, racing into that hovering whirlybird. Whatever they're doing, they're up to no good. They've got a real head start, but with a little luck, old Spider-Man ought to be able to catch them before they can get out of reach. Here goes nothing. Yeah, look, Ma, no hands. Maybe I'm just a corny show-off, but it sure feels great to get into action again. I wonder if Flash Thompson is watching. Wouldn't it be something if he ever found out who I really am? One good thing about being Spider-Man, it keeps a growing boy like me out in the fresh air. Hey, what? Get him out of here. That's a fine attitude after I knock myself out just to pay you this little visit. Where'd you come from? How'd you get here? I hate to seem antisocial, but I'll ask the questions. And the first one is, what made you think you could get away with a caper like this? Look, you've got this all wrong. You don't understand. Cut! Stop the cameras! The whole scene is ruined on account of that nut Spider-Man! He probably didn't know this was just a scene from a movie.
But minutes later, after Spidey realizes the truth.
I'm sorry I spoiled your scene. Guess I was overeager. Sorry, you web-swinging lame brain. They ought to keep you in a cage. Did you hear what happened to Spider-Man? Some sensational superhero he is. I wonder how he finds his way home at night. Very funny. Ho ho ho.
If you ask me, that Spider-Man is getting too big for his britches.
So who asked her? Boy, it doesn't matter how many great things a fellow might do. Make one little mistake and they never forget it.
And, as you'd expect, when Peter reaches the newspaper office and J. Jonah Jameson, he finds...
This is the best news I've heard in months. Spider-Man made a laughingstock of himself. Everyone's talking about his bonehead mistake.
Oh, hello, Peter. Is something wrong? Why the frown?
I don't know. I guess I just got a headache. Wow, Peter Parker, my Damon photographer. I feel so good, I'm even glad to see you. I'll be right with you as soon as I finish writing this anti-Spider-Man editorial for the next edition. That's okay, Mr. Jameson. I just came by to walk Betty home.
I'm ready to leave now, Peter. You know, Peter, I wish Mr. Jameson didn't hate Spider-Man so.
Really? What difference does it make to you, Betty? Gosh, I hope she's not beginning to suspect who Spidey really is.
Have you forgotten, Peter? Spider-Man saved my life 3 times in the past.
Phew, so that's all she meant. What a relief. And now... oh no, up ahead. Just my luck. Betty, I just remembered something I forgot to tell you. Mr. Jameson, let's go back for a minute and,
Petey.
Peter, what on earth? Oh, someone is calling you.
Petey, it's me, Liz. Come here. I have something to show you.
Does that square have to pop up wherever we go? Gosh, I'm sorry, Betty. I know how you feel about Liz. I hoped we could get away before she saw us.
Oh, stop the act, Petey. You're not impressing me one bit.
Putting on some weight, aren't you, Miss Brandt? Here, Petey, I want you to read this.
Oh, when she calls me Miss Brandt, I feel 100 years old.
It's about the Spider-Man fan club. Big deal. Parker can read. Gosh, you actually put an ad in the paper announcing your fan club meeting. But what's this? You're having your meeting at a real dinner club and Spider-Man will be there?
My father is letting us use the Avenue Dinner Club. He owns it, and he paid for the ad in the paper, too. He's always been a Spider-Man fan.
That blonde boy stealer wants the world to know how rich she is.
But how do you know that Spider-Man will be there? Because he's not a crumb like some guys I know. He's the greatest guy in the world, and he's all heart. He performed at a circus for charity last month. He won't let his loyal fans down. How can I ever be mad at a fella who feels that way about good old Spidey, even though he hates Peter Parker? So when he sees that notice in the paper, he'll be there. Something tells me that you're right, Flash.
Now you be sure to come, Petey. I know Miss Brandt can't come because her boss, Jonah Jameson, might not like it.
Where I go on my own time is my business, Miss Fallon.
Hold on, Liz. This is my fan club. I didn't invite puny Parker to come. Uh-oh, my spider sense is tingling. That means danger's near. But what can it be? I don't recognize anybody in this crowd.
But why should Peter recognize the one dangerous man in the crowd? He's never seen him without his green goblin mask before.
A meeting of the Spider-Man fan club, eh? Very interesting.
Flash Thompson, unless Petey is invited to the meeting, I'll tell my father not to let you use his dinner club for the affair.
Liz, how can you do this to me?
Very easily.
I've got to get home now, Peter.
Huh? Oh, sure. I'll walk you, Betty. If only I knew who just passed by. Well, good night, Betty. I'll be seeing you.
She didn't even ask me to see Spider-Man at the fan club meeting with him.
I can't ask Betty to come to the meeting with me because I've got to attend as Spider-Man. I hope she doesn't feel hurt.
Seconds later.
At last, I couldn't wait to change to Spidey and try to find the one who aroused my spider sense.
But as the long minutes tick by,
It seems hopeless. I couldn't go around frightening innocent people. Maybe I'm just getting jumpy. I'm beginning to imagine that everyone I see looks suspicious. I can't afford to make any more blunders after spoiling that movie scene yesterday. Oh well, I might as well change back to Peter Parker. If there is a danger to me somewhere in the area, I'll learn about it sooner or later.
but no sooner does the amazing teenager revert to his normal identity than...
Help! Police! Stop! Thief! A shot from around the corner. I'd better look into it. It's the man I saw on the street before, with a gun. He was a crook. Should I tackle him as Peter Parker or hide somewhere and change again?
But as the hesitant youth ponders his course of action, a flaming fireball streaks down from above, melting the startled fugitive's gun.
Whoa, it's the Human Torch. He beat me to the punch. There he is. Much obliged, Torch. Good thing I was passing by. Nice work, Torch. You saved us a possible gunfight. That was a wonderful bit of marksmanship, son. You destroyed his gun without injuring his hand. You're a real hero. All in a day's work, gents. Nobody ever makes that much fuss over Spider-Man.
But I have your autograph, Torch.
And I'd like one for my son, if you don't mind. Sure, why not?
Please write with love on mine. Oh.
Maybe I just don't live right. I'd better shove off before he gets elected president. Hold it, fella. I noticed you hanging around. In case you're too shy to ask me, here's my autograph anyway. Don't bother thanking me. I'm just all heart. What am I supposed to do? Sleep with it under my pillow? Loudmouth show off. Boy, this is my lucky day. Hey, did you get his autograph too? I might as well have some fun with this kid. No, this is Spider-Man's. Would you like to swap? What do you think I am? A nut? Oh well, you can't win them all.
And the next day at J. Jonah Jameson's office.
Miss Brandt, I don't like this ad which Spider-Man's fan club put in my paper.
Why not, Mr. Jameson?
The club's a success. That web-spinning clown could become as popular as the Beatles. Tell Parker to be at the meeting with his camera. We'll join him there. I'll find some way to put a damper on that club. Well, don't just stand there. Go call Parker.
Yes, sir. Oh, wait till I'm sure Peter has left. I don't want him at that meeting where Liz can make a play for him.
Meanwhile, Peter Parker is having his problems too.
Good news, Peter. I've arranged a date for you tonight with Mary Jane Watson, our neighbor's niece.
But Aunt May, I've never even seen her, and I've got a girlfriend. I don't want a blind date.
Nonsense, dear. I know what's best for you. She's a very sweet girl. Mrs. Watson says so.
I've got to think fast. Oh, I know. Gosh, Aunt May, it's impossible tonight. I'm going to a meeting of the Spider-Man fan club. She wouldn't be interested in that.
Why, that's just perfect, dear. Mary Jane's aunt tells me she just loves Spider-Man, although, personally, I can't see why. Then it's all set.
How can I go as Spider-Man if I'm stuck with a blind date? This is awful.
Hello? Oh, Mrs. Watson. What? Mary Jane has a bad cold and can't go out tonight? Tisk, tisk. Peter will be so disappointed.
Phew, I'm saved. That's right. I'm all broken up about it, Aunt May.
What's that? If Peter is so disappointed, she might try dressing warm and taking some pills?
No, it's too dangerous. She might get the flu, or worse. I wouldn't think of it, no.
Isn't that sweet of Peter, Mrs. Watson? He's so concerned about dear Mary Jane.
That's right. I'm worried sick. Well, I've got to go now. See you later. Bye.
Later, at the grand ballroom of the Avenue Dinner Club.
It was so nice of you to lend us your club for our Spider-Man fans meeting place, Dad.
We sure appreciate it, Mr. Brandt. It's a pleasure. Besides, I'm not completely unselfish. If there's a big turnout, it'll be good publicity for my club, and that means a big boost in business later. The fans should start arriving soon. Do you think Spider-Man will really show up in person? We hope so. He's sure to have seen the notice in the paper.
Ed, the short-on waiter.
Wow, what a turnout. Half of Forest Hills must be here. But where's Spidey? I don't know. Just keep your fingers crossed, Charlie.
I wonder why Petey hasn't shown up yet, after all the trouble I went to.
Meanwhile, on a rooftop nearby.
This is my big chance. If I make a good impression in there, maybe people will stop distrusting me and start liking me the way they like the Torch. I feel like a nervous actor on opening night.
And Spidey might be still more nervous if he could see the strange figure across town who is silently speeding towards the same destination.
Won't Spider-Man be surprised to see the Green Goblin among his many fans?
But as the crowd impatiently waits for the heralded appearance of the teenage adventurer, we find there are other familiar faces among those assembled.
Now remember your promise, Johnny Storm. You're just here to see Spider-Man, not to compete with him.
Don't worry, Dory. The only flame tonight will be the one in my heart, burning for you.
And don't think you can sweet-talk me out of your promise either.
Why isn't Parker here, Miss Brandt? Didn't you give him my message?
No, Mr. Jameson. I couldn't. She wasn't in when I called. Because I waited till I knew she'd be out. I'm glad Peter isn't here. That blonde bandit Liz Allen is watching for him like a hawk.
Say, Flash, what'll happen if Spidey doesn't show up? Bite your tongue, Seymour. He's got to be here.
Then suddenly, unexpectedly, dramatically,
Look at the spider signal. He's here. There he is. Greetings, web spinners. Here's your old friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Yay!
but from a darkened corner backstage, an electrically charged toy frog is propelled towards Spidey's swinging web.
At the last, my moment has come.
And as the strange device strikes the gossamer thin line, it severs it instantly.
Something snapped my web line, but how? What happened? Spidey's web snapped. He's falling. But that's never happened to him before.
Oh, I can't look.
It'll take more than a minor accident to stop me. I've got to make it look like it was part of the act. Wow, did you see the way he flipped into a safe landing? See, I know he'd show up. What a great guy. Yay, Spidey.
As far as I'm concerned, this evening is a big flop. Petey still isn't here.
Johnny, I don't like that look in your eye.
That was no act. Someone tried to hurt Spider-Man.
As then, at that very moment, the Green Goblin makes his unexpected appearance.
Holy smoke, the Green Goblin. Now I'm in for it.
Now, Spider-Man will really give them a show.
I've got to make this still seem like just an act. If the audience panics, some of them could be hurt in the rush.
I've got a whole bag full of new surprises for you, my friend. And here's the first. See how my goblin sparks start sparkling as soon as I press a button on my belt? See how pretty they look glistening in the air. Would you like a closer look at them? I'll be glad to oblige.
They look pretty, all right. Pretty dangerous. I'd better swing out of the way. Yay, what an act. Give us more. So far, so good, as long as they don't suspect that this is for real. But I can't keep this up forever. I've got to think of some way to beat the Goblin without involving the audience. Bah! The fans are eating this up. If only I could dream up some way to spoil this corny show of his.
I'm so glad that Peter isn't here. Perhaps he doesn't like Liz Allen as much as I feared he did.
You've done well so far, Spider-Man, but I've lots more surprises for you, like this one.
An electrically activated mechanical bat. It's circling me, emitting thick black smoke to blind me. But my spider sense tells me there's a new danger hidden by the smoke. I've got to avoid it at all costs. It's coming towards me. A low-yield explosive. Only one thing to do. Just made it. Now are you convinced? Didn't I tell you the old Spidey's the greatest? Yay, Spidey!
It is a thrilling act, Johnny. Johnny, what's wrong?
Plenty. If my hunch is right, that's no act. Now's my chance. One fast leap, and I'll grab him.
I expected that. How does it feel to fight a foe who's as fast as you?
Rotten, but I won't tell him.
You'd save a lot of energy if you had a little goblin glider like mine.
Where'd you get it, Gobby? Your local Hertz rent-a-glider? Attaboy, Spidey, you're doing great. What an act.
I wonder why Peter Parker's never around when Spider-Man appears. I've never seen them at the same time.
Uh-oh, I heard that. Liz is getting suspicious.
Of course, the place is very crowded. Perhaps he's here and I just can't see him.
I've got to think of something to keep her from getting too close to the truth. But what? Well, the first thing I've got to do is put the Goblin out of action. I'll let him think he's got me on the run.
Stay where you are, Spider-Man. I want to remember you that way.
You're okay as a big bad villain, but you'd never make it with the Dodgers, pal. I've got to make him come closer to me.
I can't keep missing you all the time. Blast it.
That's what they all say, until I lower the boom. There, I've got him in position. Now to move fast.
But at that very moment, the sharp-eyed Johnny Storm notices the dangerous glint of 3 gun barrels in the balcony above.
Dory, wait here. I've got to leave you for a few minutes.
Johnny Storm, you promised me you wouldn't try to get into the act. If you don't sit right down again.
I can't. This looks serious. Stay back. Come on, now's our chance to break into the cashier's safe up here while everyone's watching those clowns down below. I'd like to finish off that crummy Spider-Man first.
Suddenly, a dramatic cry rings out as a flaming flying figure blazes upward.
Flame on. Dory will be mad as a hornet, but I've just got to do this.
Look,
It's the Human Torch.
But while streaking towards the three gunmen, the torch unwittingly blazes through Spidey's wedding, spoiling our hero's plan to trap the Green Goblin.
Gangway, webhead.
That was a close one. He almost had me.
The torch. He spoiled everything. Who invited that human matchstick to butt in? Get lost, Torch. This is a private party. Clam up, Flash. Are you trying to spoil all the fun? Yay, Torch, give it to him, you old fire eater. The Torch spotted us. Let's get out of here.
This does it. I'm taking the pledge. I'm going straight.
Not realizing why the Human Torch has entered the scene, the Green Goblin angrily turns his attention towards the fiery newcomer.
The Human Torch, eh? Well, I'll teach you not to interfere with your betters.
Spider-Man's gone. I wonder where.
For the answer to the Torch's unspoken question, let's turn our attention to a youth who breathlessly races toward the audience.
So far so good. Now to put in a brief appearance as Peter Parker. Hi, Liz. I thought I saw you from across the room.
Oh, Petey, then you were here. I'm so glad.
First the pesty Torch, and now puny Parker. This place is filling up with a bunch of deadheads.
Petey, I'm sure I can talk Flash into letting you join his Spider-Man fan club.
Come on, Liz. If we accept him, we'll have to accept anybody. Forget it, kids. I may start my own club for the Green Goblin. That creep is as funny as a secondhand crotch.
You have such a cute sense of humor, Petey. But how did your hair get so messy?
It's pretty windy on the other side of the room. Now that I've shown myself, I've got to get back to the Goblin fast. But, yipes, look who's here.
Look, Parker did come after all, but where's his camera?
Peter, here with Liz. She's running her fingers through his hair. Oh no!
You look pale, Petey. Is anything wrong?
Boy, is that the understatement of the year.
Meanwhile, high above everyone's heads, the show goes on.
I've got to get rid of the torch quickly so I can turn my attention to Spider-Man. This little goblin surprise ought to do the trick.
Whatever he tossed at me, it formed an airtight cloud seal, cutting off my air. It'll put my flame out. Unless I increase my flame to near nova intensity. But that might cause a fire in here, injuring innocent people. He's tossing more. I've got to do something before I'm completely without oxygen.
And down below.
Can't delay any longer. I've got to get back to the Goblin.
He didn't invite me, but I find him here with Liz. How could he do this to me?
Just then, the barrel-wise Torch gets an idea.
Even though I don't dare use my near-nova heat on my entire body, it might be safe to just try it on my hand. There, it's working. It's drawing off the thick mist. And now, Brother Goblin. Oh, can't breathe. That dense smoke.
I neglected to warn you, Torch. The exhaust from my bat glider makes a most effective preventative against pursuit. And now, all I need to do is double back and put you out of action with one of my potent little stun bombs.
Just enough flame left to glide a safe landing. He's won the first round.
And then, among the odd spectators, a chilling, startling realization begins to take root.
Wow, the Torch saved himself just in time. Maybe I'm nuts, but I'm telling you, this is no act.
You're right. I've been thinking the same thing.
You mean this is for real?
Look, Spidey's back. I wonder where he was. Did you miss me, Gobby?
Not as much as the world will soon miss you. Confound it. Don't move so fast.
But I have to move fast. I don't want you to get bored and fall asleep on me.
But the Green Goblin can move fast too. You didn't expect my glider to make such a sudden drop, did you?
A lot of good that'll do you.
You sneered at my prowess for the last time, Spider-Man.
Don't bet on it. You missed me again. I've got him on the run now. I'll swing up again and put him away for keeps.
Hello? What? Yes, I think Peter Parker is here. Why? His aunt suffered another heart attack? Asking for him in the hospital? I see. I'll see if I can find him.
Aunt May? In the hospital? Asking for me? I've got to go to her right away. The Torch will be able to handle the Green Goblin. I can't afford to waste a second. Look, Spider-Man's running away.
I can't believe it.
He must have turned yellow. Some crummy hero he is, running out on a fight. Green Goblin must have been too much for him.
Boo, Spider-Man.
I don't know why Spidey skipped out, but someone's gotta stop the Goblin.
This is better than I dared hope for. I can just see the tomorrow's headlines. Spider-Man turns chicken.
I have no reason to fight the Torch. I'll just hold him off until I can escape.
Now what's he up to? He's tossing a miniature pumpkin at me. Well, I'll just match it with a speeding fireball. That must have been what he wanted. All these bright sparks, I can't even see.
I did it. I managed to reach the outside before his vision could return. My battle was a complete success. And next time I fight Spider-Man, I'll leave him no avenue of retreat. It will be the finish.
But at that moment, the Green Goblin is the last thing on Spidey's mind.
Poor Aunt May, I've got to reach the hospital fast. I pray that I'm not too late.
And as the crowd thins out at the Avenue Dinner Club,
Johnny, I'm not angry anymore. I'm proud of you. I realize now that you were needed as the Human Torch.
Thanks, Dory, but I can't understand what happened to Spider-Man. What could have made him turn tail and run off the way he did?
Underneath that silly old feud of yours, you really like Spider-Man, don't you, Johnny?
Yes, I guess I do, Dory. Or anyway, I did.
Miss Brent, call the paper. Tell them I'm on my way over. We're putting out an extra. I'll tell the whole world what a coward Spider-Man really turned out to be.
Yes, Mr. Jameson. And I feel like telling the world what a fool I am for thinking Peter Parker ever cared about me. I'll never trust him ever again.
Peter Parker must be part ghost. Now where did he disappear to?
Hey, wait up, fellas. Don't go yet. We have to vote for officers for our Spider-Man fan club. Forget it, Flash. After what we just saw, Spider-Man could go jump in a lake.
Come on, let's get out of here.
What's the matter with all of you? Are you just a bunch of fair-weathered friends? Spidey must have had a reason for what he did. Okay, go ahead, walk out. Who needs ya? I'm staying. I'm not a deserter. Oh, Spidey still has one fan, anyway. Nuts, what's the angle, Flash? Is he a relative of yours? No, he's not a relative. He's just the greatest guy in the world, and you'll all admit it someday. Just wait and see.
and while Flash Thompson loyally defends his teenage idol, Peter Parker breathlessly approaches the hospital.
Just a little bit further.
Throwing caution to the winds, he uses his web to swing to the ground, even though he's not in costume.
I don't care who sees me. I've got to reach Aunt May.
But luckily, the street is deserted at that moment. And not long afterwards.
Your aunt is a very sick woman, Peter, but now that you're here, she seems to have more will to live.
Stop the presses. Mr. Jameson is putting out a Spider-Man expose extra.
Slowly, the long, lonely hours drag by as Peter Parker keeps his vigil until...
Poor Aunt May. All she ever wanted was the best for me, and I never spent enough time with her, or tried to do enough for her.
The crisis is over, son. You may see your aunt now.
Peter, dear Peter.
Don't talk, Aunt May. You've got to rest. Get your strength back. Don't worry about anything. Just get well. You've got to get well.
Finally, when visiting hours have ended and Peter wearily walks home, he hears...
How about that? The Bugle calls Spider-Man a coward, right on the front page.
My son was in that fan club meeting. He said Spider-Man ran off like a scared rabbit.
Sure, he's probably nothing but a phony. It shows what a big publicity buildup will do for a guy.
Looks like I've become public heel #1 practically overnight. Betty is hurt because she thinks I went to the club with Liz instead of her. Everyone thinks I'm yellow, and I've probably lost any fans I might have had. On top of all that, the Green Goblin is free again and may strike at any time. And the one person who's been kinder to me than anyone else in my whole life is in the hospital now, and there's nothing I can do to help her. A lot of good it does to be Spider-Man. Sometimes I wish I never even heard that name. Why don't things ever seem to turn out right for me? Why do I seem to hurt people no matter how hard I try not to? Is this the price I must always pay for being Spider-Man?
And so we take our leave of the world's most human, most misunderstood superhero. But if you think his life is complicated now, just wait till you see the hand that a capricious fate deals him next issue. We promise you a tale that you will not soon forget. The end.
Well, guys, that was the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 17. We have seen the return of the Green Goblin once again. Things are being further strained between Betty and Peter, and there seems to be a crazy weird love triangle going on between Liz, Betty, and Peter, so we'll have to see how it ends up. Aunt May seems to be having unfortunate health issues, and it seems this issue ended on a sort of relative cliffhanger. So we'll have to see what comes next, but thank you guys for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this series and wish to see it continue, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.